messing with some raw dudes, wrestling, talking, raw views, previews, recaps, and interviews. Definition of professional, tell me what you expected though. Facts are checked when information's collected, yo. We body slamming all these wrestling brands, but of course that's the case when A&T's on hand. We going head to head, this ain't a ratings war. Now's your chance to chat with Steven, what you waiting for?
Welcome everyone to another episode of RawViews. My name is Steven. First off, I want to say thank you to everybody who's already subscribed, already started watching my videos. We had 100 views on yesterday's video, or we were almost there as of early this morning. So just to start off, thank you. Also, I've launched a t-shirt called Thoughts after some online banter with people on the Twitter streets. So if you want to go pick that up, go to my Twitter account at @view_raw and pick up a Thoughts t-shirt or face mask today. I want to kick off today's show. Today I'm going to be talking about the Elimination Chamber, kind of what I would do and what I think WWE is going to do. So this will be a fantasy booking / predictions episode of the show. I was going to do the Dungeon of Doom episode, but I'm going to push that back to Friday to allow more people to be able to listen to the prediction show before the pay-per-view on Sunday. So before we jump into the Elimination Chamber, and I'm going to cover everything, and again, I'm also going to tell you what I would like to see. So I'm going to give you a little bit of fantasy booking with my predictions, but I want to talk about a report that just broke by Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, a rumor that started at the end of last year that has now surfaced up to be a full report this year. I'm not going to go completely into the details. If you want to know all the details of this report, you can go to Fightful Select and become a subscriber there. I think Sean does absolutely amazing work over at Fightful.com. But I want to talk about a report about NXT Evolve. It's something I've talked about on my Twitter account now for the last 3 months. It's something that started as a rumor, and now, like as I said, there's a full-blown report about it. Apparently, they've already begun taping. This also falls in line with WWE signing a bunch of new talents as of late. So it really feels like they're going to push it forward. It does sound like it's going to have its own title. It's going to have a completely different feel from the rest of WWE programming. I think that's really awesome. I'm really curious to see what that is. My guess would be, again, as I put out on my Twitter account, that this show ends up either on the WWE Network to replace NXT proper, or maybe it's just another show on the network. Maybe they put it on another streaming service. I'm not completely sure there, but that would be my guess. It's not going to go on cable. It's not going to be a fourth cable brand, I don't believe. I would be very, very shocked if it was. But as of now, I can tell you it is NXT Evolve. Gabe Sapolsky is a major part of it. It does have a different feel than everything else WWE programming. And again, my guess would be this is where a lot of these young guys that WWE has just signed will go. It will have its own championship. And again, I think this is either going to go on the network or go on another streaming platform. So again, bombshell news, WWE launches essentially another brand to add to NXT UK. They want to launch at NXT India. They just talked about doing a NXT South America. They want to do an NXT Japan at some point. WWE just continuing to grow their business and continuing to just saturate the market in totality, generating more revenue streams. It's only going to be it's going to be extremely beneficial for their business model. But let's go ahead. Let's jump into the Elimination Chamber, which is this Sunday. And we have some question marks already. I had everything prepared here. You see I have some graphics that are popping up for each topic. But so we're going to start with the United States Championship. And this is where our first question mark already is. It was said on commentary during Monday Night Raw in kind of an offhanded comment that Keith Lee's health was in question for this Sunday's match. And then you had Lashley completely destroy Riddle after Riddle gets a tag win with Lucha House Party. So the question is, will Keith Lee be in this match? And that's where my first prediction has to go. I'm going to say No. And I'm going to say no because I think it's a way that, if he is sick or if he is hurt, you can hold him off without him being in this match with Lashley, because I think Lee and Lashley is a big-time match. I'm going to take a guess that Riddle loses to Bobby Lashley, and Lashley keeps that U.S. title, setting us up for a big Keith Lee victory at WrestleMania. I don't think this is going to bury Riddle. Please do not start with the Riddle is buried getting 3 segments a night thing. I could see him losing the match after a long, hard-fought match, or maybe by MVP getting involved. Maybe you have Alexander and Benjamin get involved and you reunite the Hardy Bros for a tag match at WrestleMania. Maybe that's a route you go, but I don't see Riddle winning here. And actually, it's not the way I would book it either. I would book Lashley to win this match due to Benjamin and Alexander getting involved and costing Riddle the match, setting up that tag match. Because then you can do the Hardy Bros, you can do Alexander and Benjamin, maybe you throw in Lucha House Party, maybe you put in a 4th tag team. I can't even think of a 4th tag team off the top of my head for Monday Night Raw right now, but that's not the point. My point is, I think you can get Riddle and Lee into title matches at WrestleMania, both against the Hurt Business, and that is when you start to see the Hurt Business really start to fall apart, in which they've already started planting the seeds for it. So again, I have Lashley win. I have him probably tap out Riddle. Where you think Riddle's going to win, Alexander, Benjamin, the deck just gets stacked against Riddle. This setting up a big Keith Lee, Bobby Lashley matchup at WrestleMania. So that's where I would go with that match. Moving on to my next question mark of the night, which is Lacey Evans and Asuka. Lacey Evans is pregnant. Congratulations to her. I just want to say congratulations. So I would doubt, unless this is a work, that she is going to be in this matchup. So the question becomes, it has been reported that she plans on staying on television. So what does that mean? That means she's going to be the thorn in the side of Charlotte. Now, does Charlotte see the error of her own ways and align with her father and Lacey? That is a story they could tell. That is not something I would be a big fan of. My guess is here, maybe Peyton Royce gets the match because she's been aligned with Lacey, so maybe Lacey just appoints her replacement. There's not a lot of great directions to go here, if I'm being honest, especially with what I think WWE would do. I think Asuka leaves this show the champion. And my guess is at this point now, Asuka will be champion going into WrestleMania. And again, if I'm drawing a straight line from WrestleMania, or from now to WrestleMania, and including everybody that needs to be included from the women's division, we are probably heading towards a Charlotte-Asuka feud, meaning either Asuka or Charlotte is going to have to turn heel, which now has me questioning, does Lacey and Flair actually align with Asuka turning her heel to go against babyface Charlotte? Again, I'm not saying I'm a big proponent of that story, but it is something I could certainly see WWE doing. And it keeps Lacey Evans on television, it pushes forward the Flair-Charlotte feud, and it gets both Charlotte Flair that is, and Asuka on the WrestleMania card in a title match. How would you feel about that? Let me know in the comment section below. How would you feel about Asuka, heel, aligned with Ric Flair and Lacey Evans taking on Charlotte, babyface, at WrestleMania? Let me know below. My guess is you all hate it. Moving on to the next match of the night. The first Elimination Chamber match. Kofi Kingston, who's replaced The Miz, Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy. Let me just first say, I expect this match to absolutely deliver. You have the right amount of stylistic clashes, the right amount of people who can fly. You have pedigree in this match. Every one of these people are a former WWE champion. I think this match probably ends up boiling down to Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. AJ Styles, I do wonder where he's going to come into play here, because he's been booked so strong going into this match. And just traditionally speaking, he's a very strongly booked character. So I'd be very surprised if he loses by anything less than a brogue kick and or a Claymore kick. So if you ask me, my guess is Drew and Sheamus are the final two. AJ's eliminated before then. Jeff Hardy's probably eliminated first, but then the two other superstars in this matchup that have real interesting storylines come into play. You have Randy Orton and you have Kofi Kingston. I'll take Kofi first here to explain what I think could happen, should happen, and what I think will happen. I think what could happen with Kofi is he gets taken out by Retribution. I think what should happen with Kofi is he should get taken out by Retribution. And I think that what will happen with Kofi is he will get taken out by Retribution. Now the question is, when does this occur? Does this occur before the match and Ali replaces him? Or does this occur before the match and nobody replaces him? Or does this happen during the match, in which they just take Kofi out? I'm not sure I want to see Ali replace Kofi in this matchup. I do want to see Ali take the opportunity away from Kofi. I think the story here is not, I deserve your spot. No, the story for Ali here is, I want you to feel the way I felt. I want to take you out of this matchup and take your opportunity away, setting up their feud for WrestleMania. I think that is what could, should, and will happen. Now the question will be when it happens. I'm going to predict it happens prior to the match, with Kofi not able to be a participant in the match, or getting completely destroyed as one of the first competitors, and AJ Styles gets a quick win there. So let me predict that. That is actually where I'm going to go there. AJ, Kofi, the first two people in the match. Kofi gets absolutely destroyed prior to the match. AJ pins Kofi, now pushing us to the next entrant in the match, which I believe will be Jeff Hardy. You will then see AJ and Jeff Hardy put on a great match, as you would expect those two would. But then you have Randy Orton lingering. And with Randy Orton lingering, you have to ask yourself, how is The Fiend going to make his presence felt? Will he make it felt through himself? Will he make it felt through Alexa Bliss? Will it be while he's in a pod, while he's in the match, while he's heading to the ring, or when it looks like he might actually win the match? I'm going to fantasy book this. What I would like to see with Randy Orton here is The Fiend, Randy Orton's countdown begins. And it looks like he is about to enter the match, and just as the light shines onto his pod, all the lights go out. When all the lights go out, the Fiend appears inside the pod with him and absolutely destroys Randy Orton. Yes, you were getting a lot of story in this match. You were getting a lot of shenanigans in this match, but I think it makes for the better match. Why? Because the Elimination Chamber is simply a catalyst to get you to WrestleMania. It is simply a way, another event, to give you big bang moments to get you to WrestleMania and get you interested in these matches. And I see two opportunities here outside of the clear Sheamus-Drew feud where you can actually do that. So I would like to see The Fiend cost Randy Orton early, where he doesn't even get a chance to be in the match, much like Kofi. What I think will happen is, it appears Randy Orton lays everybody out, and as he's about to hit an RKO on somebody, that is when the lights go out. Alexa Bliss shows up, and that is when he gets Claymored, pinned, 1, 2, 3. And Drew McIntyre, sorry my Alexa's going off, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but Drew McIntyre defeats Randy Orton, eliminating him. This leaves you Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, AJ Styles in the matchup, because somebody's going to eliminate Jeff Hardy in the process. So now we're going to get to AJ, Drew, Sheamus. I think these will be your final three in the matchup. Ultimately, I think Drew gets the win here. Now, you also have the Braun Strowman factor. It's also been rumored maybe we see Braun and Shane. That's actually something I said as well as soon as I heard the dialogue on Monday Night Raw. Does Braun insert himself into this match somehow? I don't think so. He could, but I mean, then we're talking about 3-4 different angles in this one matchup. I think Drew gets the win. Sheamus appears like he's going to get the win. Drew outright gets the win. Moves on to WrestleMania. Again, I think the opponent for Drew could be Braun Strowman. Maybe you get another Drew-Sheamus match at Fastlane to put that behind him. And building a really good road to WrestleMania in its entirety. I mean, a lot of people might get a little off-put by Drew-Sheamus ending by Fastlane, but it's a story that's been told over time, and I feel like would actually get a proper conclusion at Fastlane. So, again, I got Drew winning. It's actually who I would book to win the match as well, and I think that's the way WWE is going to go. When you ask yourself the questions, just like as I did with Goldberg, did they really build him up over the last year to have him drop the title to Sheamus just before WrestleMania? It's possible, and it's possible in the sense if you were going to go with another Drew McIntyre redemption story leading up to WrestleMania. I just think there's that other stop there at Fastlane is what keeps me from saying that. And I think you get Drew, Sheamus at Fastlane, Drew, Braun at WrestleMania. How would you feel about that? Let me know on Twitter. Let me know that one on Twitter, @view_raw. How would you feel if we're getting Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, the two guys that walked out of WrestleMania last year with championships, defeating Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, them two facing off at WrestleMania this year? I think that's the route they're going. That would be my guess. Finally, the SmackDown match. It is for the right to face Roman Reigns. Also on the show, there's two ways they could go with this. They could open the show with this match and then close the show with the winner versus Roman, or they could have this match happen and then the Roman Reigns match directly after. Either way, I believe Kevin Owens is probably going to win this match, because there's still too much untold story. There's just too much left on the bone between these two. Kevin Owens right now is operating on a level that only Roman Reigns is eclipsing in WWE right now. He is absolutely on fire, and I would hate for this not to continue. And I've already seen people jumping off the bandwagon, and I don't really understand why. Are you not enjoying this Kevin Owens-Roman Reigns feud anymore? Because the amount of character development happening between these two and the amount of intensity these two are bringing to the table every week is off the charts. So, I will go ahead. I have Kevin Owens winning. The way I would operate with this is you have Kevin Owens win this match, defeating Jey Uso last in this match. And I would have this open the show. Then tell the story throughout the night. Kevin Owens being banged up, because after the match, maybe this is where Jey Uso or Roman Reigns attacks him after the match. He's banged up. We get to the main event of the show, and this is where I would have Jimmy Uso return. You have both Usos costing Kevin Owens once again the championship, leaving your babyface in peril and leaving Roman Reigns standing tall as your champion, the mob boss, the provider of the show, the head of the table, and all the other things he calls himself. That is the way I would do it. Now, what do I think WWE is going to do? I think what might happen is Daniel Bryan might win this match. And then, you have an opportunity here, if you're WWE, to give the winner of this match, to make it a Cesaro. You could give Cesaro the win in this matchup and see how it feels, and see how the replies on social media are, and see how your Thunderdome crowd reacts to it, because he's going to face Roman that night. The build is already set. You're not having to sell this on Roman versus insert specific challenger. You're selling this on Roman versus one of these challengers, right? So this is the perfect spot if you wanted to throw Cesaro a bone and you wanted to have him win, you could do so. And I think what could happen is Jimmy Uso could return during the Elimination Chamber matchup, and the two of them eliminating Kevin Owens. Now, you still get to tell the story that the story of Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns isn't done, or you could pivot momentarily to Kevin Owens and a partner of his choosing taking on the Usos. Either way, that opens the door for Daniel Bryan or Cesaro to get this win here. And I think WWE, in moments like this is where they take those chances. As I just mentioned, this is where, because they're not having to sell it Roman Reigns versus Cesaro. They're selling it Roman Reigns versus one of these 6 people. This is where WWE likes to take shots. It's very calculated, it's very safe, and they now get to gauge how the crowd or how their fans feel about this happening. I'm going to predict Cesaro wins this match. Now again, it's not how I would book it. I would book it with Kevin Owens winning because I think this story is just too white hot. But if I'm putting my WWE thinking cap on, with the push that Cesaro's been getting, with the fact that it looks like he's staying with the company long term, and with the fact that people behind the scenes like Daniel Bryan is really pushing to get him more momentum, and you're seeing a lot more comments from WWE superstars saying they believe Cesaro is the most underrated performer in WWE. Now, you put all those things together, you put together the fact that this is an opportunity for them to give Cesaro the title shot without really taking a lot of risk. I think that's what happens. I think Cesaro wins the match. My guess is it's a back-to-back match. Cesaro gets to put on a clinic to open the Elimination Chamber, wins the Elimination Chamber after both Usos help eliminate Kevin Owens. Cesaro then eliminates Jey Uso. Then he has a 10 to 12 minute match with Roman Reigns right after that match and loses to Roman Reigns. The story for Cesaro, won't be the fact he lost. That's not what anybody's going to look at because nobody's actually expecting him to win this title tonight. The question is, will the people rally on social media? Will the people rally in the Thunderdome? However they can gauge this reaction. Will the people rally as they did for Kofi Kingston to finally give Cesaro that push? If they do, it could be a really, really good spring and summer for Cesaro. If they do not, hey, they gave him the chance. Those are my predictions. Let me just run them back so you hear them all. I think Lashley keeps his title. I think Asuka keeps her title. I think Drew keeps his title. I think Roman keeps his title. And I think ultimately he faces off with Cesaro. What are your predictions? Let me know your predictions down below in the comments section or on Twitter @view_raw. If you wouldn't mind, if you're enjoying this content that I'm providing you, please go ahead, hit the subscribe button. I would love to see us jump to 50 subscribers in no time. And with the way we are already pacing, like it's incredible to me. With the way we're already pacing, I believe we will hit over 100 subscribers before Fastlane, which, it's crazy to me. I appreciate you all. I enjoy all of your commentary. I enjoy interacting with you all. I enjoy hearing all your thoughts. And I enjoy giving you mine. And as always, until next time, be awesome.